learning how to tune your instrument is very important, very crucial to being able to play the music you want. And that's what this video is about. Now, if you're beginning, I highly recommend that you get a chromatic tuner. Now, this is a tuner where you can plug in, or it does have a microphone that'll pick up the sound from the amplifier, or if you have an acoustic guitar, then the microphone on this will pick up the sound from the acoustic. Some people have now clip-on tuners. Those work fine as well. Just make sure you have a chromatic tuner. The reason why I say chromatic is because a chromatic tuner tells you the name of whatever note it is your string is tuned to. There are some tuners out there that are designed just for standard tuned guitars. A standard tuned guitar is tuned like this. We have an E, A, D, G, B, E. And those are the only notes that will be listed on that type of tuner. So if you accidentally tune your string to a note that is not listed on there, it will not tell you that. And if you don't have a good enough ear already, you could end up busting strings or getting way out of tune because that tuner is not telling you where you're off. Like if you accidentally tune your high or your low E high up to an F, that tuner won't tell you. It's not going to say you're on an F because it doesn't list F. A chromatic tuner will tell you if you accidentally tune it up to an F. The other thing is some notes you might tune like sharp or flat. Sharp means high. So for example, that is an A note, 5th fret on the low E string. That's an A. If I wanted to sharp it, I'd raise it up a fret. If I wanted to flat it, I go back to 5 and then go down to 4. That would be an A flat. So chromatic tuners tell you if you are sharp or flat as well. These standard tuning guitar tuners, they do not tell you that. So I think they're absolutely a terrible idea. I don't know why they were ever even made. It's just bad. Bad all around. Chromatic tuner is the way to go. So we have various parts of the tuner, and what we have here, let's turn it on, different parts of the screen. Now what's important here, now look, apparently I was talking at a B. So all these little lights coming on right now, see that little needle in the middle, that's telling you what you're tuning to and how far off you are from it. So the goal is, whatever you're tuning to, you want it to be right there in the middle and have that green light come on. You'll also have the needle point to the middle. So let's try out the low E string here. So that's where you want it. So let's get it, I'm going to tune it or detune it a bit so you can see what happens when I do that. So I just dropped my E down a little bit. So if you can see closely here, let me get it in there. See that little B next to the E? That's a flat. So that's saying it's an E flat. But it's not quite an E flat because the needle's not in the middle. So what we're going to do to make it correct is tighten the string so this way the needle moves this direction towards that sharp sign. So up here, that is a sharp sign, and this is a flat sign. So again, sharp means higher, flat means low. So we want this to be tuned to an E, so I'm going to tighten it. See how the needle moves? There. So you want to tune, or when you're tuning, turn your tuning peg slowly so this way you don't overshoot it. Now, other parts to be cautious of is right here. See where it says 440? That's what standard music is tuned to. So right here we have calibration to where you can change what it is. See, that's 441. I'm going higher right now. So you have the ability to tune it to different frequencies. But that thing really goes up there, doesn't it? Oh, it dropped down all the way to like 410, it looked like. So I believe it was like a lot of the like old-fashioned music, you know, long time ago was tuned down a lot lower, and then eventually they just started tuning higher and higher and higher. And I think today's classical music is actually tuned a bit higher than 440. But basically what that means is your A, it's A440. Basically your standard A note is at a frequency of 440 hertz. So if your tuner says something besides 440, change the calibration in order to get it back to where it is. Now there might be some songs that are tuned to a different calibration. I know some of the later Halloween records, I think they tuned it to 438. So you know, you can experiment with different tunings yourself if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's okay to have options. But if you're going for standard tuning, you want it to be in 440. So remember, all you're doing is tuning the name of the string. You're matching it to your tuner. That's what standard tuning is. There's a lot of alternate tunings, but that's what standard tuning is. And that's why the string names are named that way, because that's what you tune it to for standard. So let's say you don't have a chromatic tuner, you want to do it by ear. So I'm going to show you two ways, a very popular way and then a not so popular way. So the basic way of tuning, actually adjust a little bit. Okay, so what you do, you may have seen this already, is where you're going to go like 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 4-0, 5-0. And this is why, because when you're tuning this way, you're basically tuning the instrument to itself. That's one reason why it is helpful to have a tuner, so you know exactly what pitch you're getting it to. But basically, the A note here, the A string, you're tuning the 5 on the E string, or you're taking the 5 on the E string and matching your open A to that. The reason why is because 5 on the E is an A note. So you want the 5 on the E to sound like the open A, or you want the open A to sound like the 5 on the E. I think that sounds a bit better. You want the open A to sound like the 5 on the E. So what you could do, some people like to do, is that they keep their finger there, and then they'll make adjustments like this. So I just detuned it. So that tuned it right back up there. So if you can end up tuning a little bit too far, so that's a little bit high now. And let's see, I want you to hear a little like wavering thing. A lot of times you hear like a little wah 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 going on. And the closer you get to the note, the slower the little wavering sound is. You can kind of hear it there. I went a little bit flat. Basically, you want to get it to where you don't hear that wavering sound anymore. So, moving on, for the next string, so the 5 on the A string is a D note. So you want to tune your open D to sound like that. Next we hit 5 on the D string, that's a G note. We use that to tune our open G. We go to 4 on the on the G string, which is a B note, and we use that to tune our B string. think you have pretty good there. Hear that kind of like wow, wow, wow. That's what you don't want. You want to get as close to possible so you don't hear that wavering anymore. And then when you go to tune your high E string, you hold the 5th fret on the B string because that's an E note. So another way I like to do it is using octaves. So this way, I'm holding 7 on the A string, which is an E note, and then I hit the open low E, and then I make adjustments there, and you can really hear the wavering there with the different octaves. Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you hear that? And you just keep tuning it up just a little bit at a time until it goes away. And so we go to the next string. So 7 on the D string is an octave, higher octave of the open A. So you use those to tune together. So you're tuning the open A to the sound of the 7 on the D string. Then we go up to the G string, hit 7, and then open D. So those are both D notes. So 7 on G is a D, and then we tune the open D string to that. We go to 8 on the B string, and then we tune the G to that. So that's a little off to me. And that's one reason I actually like doing the octaves a little bit better, because I feel I get a more accurate tune out of that. And then we go, oh yes, just real quick, that's the 8 on the B string. That's a G note, so that's why we tune our open G to that. And then 7 on the E string is a B, and that's what we use to tune our B string, open B string to. So those are just a couple ways of tuning. There are others. Some people use harmonics to do so, but that could be for a different lesson. If you can't find one on that, let me know. I can put one together. If you have any questions about this or anything pertaining to music, just send me an email and I'll answer your question. And thank you for watching.